Welcome everyone to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Kasia Dodd, right? Did I get that name right? You know, it's funny because I always think it's Kasia, but it's Kasia. And first
It
of all,
is.
thanks again for being back on People on Dating. Today's a good subject about trauma bonding. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your journey like, to get here to today? What was the ups and downs? What was that aha moment for you?
In terms of trauma bond,
Yes, and pretty much what you've been doing professionally.
okay, so professionally, I am a psychologist and therapist trained in Poland and in the European Union. And I wanted to work with people since I can remember. So everything in life I did was kind of it was supporting this path.
Right.
And so I started doing therapy with people around 19, 18, and 19 years ago, and I really enjoyed this job. But uh, in my private life, I met a person and I fell in love, and we were together for 12 years. And even if I had this education, psychological education, and some kind of expertise, it didn't prevent me from bonding with a person who turned out to be a covert narcissist. Yeah, after finally this relationship ended, I wrote a book and I had a lot of reflections and analysis and healing too, and it's all in the book describing the trauma bond too. And I learned a lot during this process about trauma bond also.
Mhm.
So it's more frequent that we think, and sometimes we just call the trauma bond a difficult relationship, a difficult character, but actually it is a. Or sometimes we say, yeah, it's good to bear your cross, right, and
Mhm.
be patient and be forgiving, but underneath that, it's just a trauma bond. So uh, it's my passion to learn about those things and then share with people in different forms.
So again, since the topic is about trauma bonding, uh, if you could explain to my audience what is that, what and what causes that? Like you said, you were with a covert narcissist for a long time. I've been with friends of mine that they still haven't gotten over their ex because they call them a narcissist because of things they did. But again, I've been hearing a lot about trauma bonding for over the past year and a half when I'm reading articles or when I'm looking at other podcasts. But if you could tell us, like, what is the meaning of trauma bonding, and again, what causes it? I know I was
Mhm.
all over the place, but
No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, trauma bond usually starts when we are still children, and um, it develops in the environment when love and tension
Mhm.
are together, coming from the same person. So, for example, if if the mom or dad is critical, abusive, or neglecting the child, right? But the child really, really needs to have the bond with the parent because it cannot survive with the parent.
Mhm.
Uh, then there's this closeness of the relationship between the parent and the child, right? And so the child is always looking for love, for bond, for safety, because that's the instinct. We all do it when
Right.
we are children. We need it to survive. So in a way, child has no choice but to be with this person who is called mom or dad.
Mhm.
And then when the parent is critical or neglecting frequently, and then suddenly there is a moment of release. There is a good moment, and the child feels loved, or the child feels connected or seen. That's the moment of release. right? So there's a tension, tension, tension. My mom doesn't love me. My mom doesn't need me. And suddenly my mom sees me as, oh, there's this release. So the release, which is pleasurable,
Hmm.
gets mixed up in the brain with love. So then we think that the release from stress is love. So that's really that's conditioning. And then later in life we look for love and we look for what is familiar, meaning
Hmm.
we're looking for somebody who will be bad to us or abusive, and then the moment of release will be we will be calling love. We'll be looking for this moment to that everything is okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so the love, so the love is learned this way that it's you have to deserve it, you have to earn it. It's not free. It's connected to pain, and you have to have the pain in order to receive love. So it's so the trauma bond. That's the condition for trauma bond. Mixed messages, love and rejection, love and rejection, tension and release, and it's coming from the same person,
Right.
the person that we care about. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I remember I seen a couple of interviews where a woman was, I think there was like two, three women, and they were used to a certain type of man treating them. I hate to say disrespectful, but it seemed like that was the key word that these women were using, or not the key word, but just the way to describe the man. And then they said when they went out with someone that wasn't like that, they felt awkward. They felt, wait a
Hmm.
minute, this guy's treating me so well. I'm not used to that. I don't like guys like that. I got to go back to the other guy. Am I in the same wavelength as trauma bonding? Is that what these women were going through with the guys that they were with? At that, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, and then I'll call them for 3 or 4 days, and oh, I was just busy. And then the nice guy that calls them every day, texts them, they're not used to that. Is that part of the trauma bonding that some of these ladies were going through?
Yes, yes, and I hear this sometimes in therapy. And by the way, it doesn't matter if it's men or women,
Yeah.
because men sometimes also have narcissistic partners, women, and it's the same story. But
Yeah.
sometimes I hear, when I work with people, some time ago, I remember this lady because it was so tough with her. Um, she came, of course, with complaining about being alone. She was, I think, in her 30s, maybe early 40s, being lonely and alone and
Hmm.
not being able to have loving relationships. So when we start digging and digging and digging, she finally said, "You know what? Yeah, when those nice guys approach me, they're just boring,
That's
right?
always the term. Yes, boring. Yeah.
Yes, they
I'm
are
like,
boring."
wow.
Yes. So, I mean, on one hand, she really wanted loving partner who would be respectful and good for her and to her.
Yeah.
But when it really came to life and events, no, she was choosing those that were creating a lot of trauma and were abusing her because her pattern from abusive home when she was a child was
Yeah.
that she constantly had to earn attention, love, kindness. So the deep conviction is I don't deserve it. I really don't deserve it. I have to work so hard to get a piece of it, get piece of it.
Right.
So then they look for the familiar, right? And the brain is convinced that that's what love is. So when they meet person like that, it's
Yeah.
attractive. There's a huge rush. There are butterflies in the stomach and deep connection, immediate deep connection, right? But then the history repeats itself.
So how does
Yeah.
this how does someone get out from that then? I mean, is you're getting you okay, so I can see the brain ticking. So how does someone get away from that then? Is it the people around you? Is it, you just start focusing on yourself, healing yourself? Because if you used to, being with a partner, whether like I said, man or woman, um, and you realize, you take how you say account of yourself, accountability, and then like, wait a minute, I can't go through this because I did that before. Where
Mhm.
I was always nice and all that, but then I realized my relationships were just not working. I'm like, what is it? And it was more about just setting my boundaries, and that was it. And I would have open boundaries on everything, especially financially. I never had any really financial boundaries.
Mhm.
And it took a while for me to finally say no. But
Yes.
I'm telling you, Kasia, it felt good saying it because I just felt that I hate to say being taken advantage of because I knew what I was doing, but I wanted to please her. But then it just got a little bit overboard. And that's when I said, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, that's it. That I'm done. No way. And I think it's just developing boundaries. Well, for me, it was. So, yeah, go ahead, Kasia. I went on too long.
No, no, you're good. Yes, you're exactly right. And you can have healthy boundary when you start taking care of yourself on the inside, right?
Right.
So, um, yeah. So yeah, connecting back to to who you are, knowing yourself,
Mhm.
knowing your needs, respecting them, not neglecting them. I mean, when we try to please other people too much, we
Yeah.
forget about ourselves and our needs. So yeah, so that's the mistake number one.
Right.
So we have to go back to seeing ourselves and our needs and that we are as important as the other people, as other people. So yes, so then when we do that, when we reconnect with the deep I, then the boundaries are created immediately
Right.
because then we know when to say no because we are in touch with ourselves.
How difficult is it though? Like for me, when I went through that, especially the financial boundaries, I remember I was walking away from her, not from her, but from the place that we had I would say lived together for a little while. And I'm walking down, it was like basically like a half a mile between where she lived at and the train station. And I just said, okay, I just got to work. This is what I got to do. This is not working. I finally see the pattern. Some of my friends were telling me what I'm doing wrong. That's when we rely on our close friends to tell us, hey, wake up, wake up. You've been doing this all the time. You're going out with the same type of woman, same type of guy. Um, can our friends hold us accountable? And do we listen?
Ah,
Because we
that's
always
the
thinking that
idea.
we're right.
Yes. Yes, well, if you have a really good friend who can see that and tell it straight in your face, that's a good thing. The
Mhm.
other thing is, well, the question, do we want to listen to it? Because inside we are convinced sometimes that we are right, and it's just a bad day, or maybe she or he's going through the difficult period. Maybe
Yeah.
it will change. Maybe it will be good again. I'll give it more time, and the time goes on. So yes, if friend or more people than one tell us that something is not right, then we should start listening. Yes, then sometimes it depends when we feel the bottom, right? Because everybody has a different bottom that finally
Yeah.
we hit. Yes, so sometimes we have to really, really get dragged through the mud to feel the bottom, and sometimes it's earlier. We listen to the warning signs and know something is not right, and I will explore it. Yeah.
For me, it was a financial bottom.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
when I said, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing? I just think, and I had people tell me, "Oh, you too nice, you too this, you too that," and I still didn't listen, Kasha. Did not listen because I thought,
Yeah,
no, 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 I'm doing it the right way until you get slapped in the face and
yeah.
then you reflect. And I remember that summer, it was I think it was May or June of 2020. And I remember, like I said, I was walking and I just started, usually, I have my phone and I'm listening to something, the noise, no noise, just walking, taking the train back into New York City. And I just started saying, no, no, this has got to stop. I got to work on
Mhm.
myself. But I
Yeah,
just think that some people still fall back to the old patterns.
they
Uh,
can, yeah.
yeah, and so it's like for me, I didn't do it because I stuck to my guns.
Hmm.
How do like you said previously, a woman might see a guy like him, but he's too boring. How do you
Hmm.
get away from that bad boy image that she likes to go with a nice guy that's going to treat her well? That's what I'm saying. Because do we fall back to those patterns again? Because we don't like. I think you might have mentioned that we don't have confidence in ourselves that we deserve that. Does
Hmm.
did that make sense at all?
Yes, yes. Well, it happens a lot that people fall back to the same pattern. They say, no, 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 I never again. Oh my gosh, never again. The next time it will be totally different.
That's
And
true.
even sometimes, the next person that you meet behaves completely differently. And then when you go in a relationship, the pattern is exactly the same.
Mm.
So yes, there is no other way, like except working on ourselves inside. There is no other way because there's an old deep pattern, and patterns rule our lives.
Mm.
Not what we think, not what we want, but the mechanisms, uh, the um, those are patterns. They're
Yeah.
like programs, and they run our lives and our behaviors and our choices. So unless we change the deep pattern that is dysfunctional, nothing will change.
Right.
No matter how intelligent we are or how we wish.
So,
No.
so if you have a client or you talking to someone that has gone through the trauma bonding and all that, like, are there steps that you tell them or you could suggest someone do? You don't have to give out obviously your whole secret because you you still got a business to run. But
That's-
if you could give like one or two pointers, like what steps they could start taking to release themselves from always attracting the wrong person, if that makes sense.
I don't even know if there is a pointer to give
Yeah.
in the way that it's a complex process. Well, for sure, educating themselves, it would be a start.
Hmm.
So the intellectual
Ah,
mind can recognize the pattern. So that's the good way to start. Because sometimes we see something, we feel that it's not right, but we rationalize, oh, then, the brain tries to explain to itself that everything, that it's okay. But when we educate ourselves and we read about it or talk about it, and we
mhm.
know that it's not okay, certain behaviors or certain red flags, then that's the good start. Well, that's the start. Then, of
Yeah.
course, it's the emotional part because those bonds are very strong. They are dysfunctional, but they are very strong.
Right.
So then you have to do some kind of emotional work, releasing the old patterns, emotional patterns, releasing the old bonds, releasing the old beliefs that love equals pain, that love is
Mm.
painful, or yes, or you have to deserve it, or it's not free, or you have to earn it somehow. Those are deep, deep patterns, emotional patterns. So there are many modalities. My favorite is emotional freedom techniques, the tapping.
Yeah.
So I use that with people, and I used it a lot on myself and with myself when I was going through the relationship, because at least I had this help that I could use, so I didn't go crazy completely. Yes, yes, and then usually what's advised, when you work on yourself,
Yeah.
don't go any relationships, just stay away from anything, just make make time and room in your life for yourself for some time,
Yeah,
know
work on
yourself.
yourself. Take yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree because that's what I did.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and you hit on something that I don't think people more, talk about is that this could be from childhood that just
Mm.
carries on for the rest of your
Yes,
life.
usually it is.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes,
go ahead.
usually yes, because being a child, it's it's a particular situation because a child cannot survive without having a bond with an adult.
Sure.
Adult can survive without having a bond with another adult.
Okay.
It can survive. Child can't. If
Right.
you're 5 and you don't have a bond with somebody who takes care of you, you'll die, literally die
Right.
from hunger, from cold, from accident. But you have to. So there's this instinct, and even if you observe little puppies or kittens or little fawns in the forest, when they are babies, they are so close to the mother. They just don't step away. They are always very close because they know
Yeah.
I have to be close to her because if I'm not, something will eat me and the life is over. So
Right.
there is this instinct in the child that it has to bond with the caregiver. If the caregiver is not loving or it's semi-loving and semi-abusive, then that's where the trauma bond forms.
Right.
I have to be with this person. This person loves me and this person shows me love once a year, let's say when I have my birthday, and I will live for this moment, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because something to, to attach, something positive to hold on to. Because the child doesn't have the choice. I just close the door and I go because I don't
Right.
like this person. Yeah, so it's a desperate situation.
Yeah, especially
Yes,
that young of age. Yeah, and it's funny because
exactly.
we don't talk about that, and I don't think I hear too much about issues as a kid that comes with you as an adult. Well, first of all, Kasia, I want to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I could probably talk about this for another hour. And before I let you go, anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to promote?
Can I promote anything?
Sure.
Well, of course, I mean, first I would like to promote self help and self care. So I would like to encourage everybody to never forget about what's inside. That's the number one. That's the basis for everything else. And if I can promote anything else, I am in the process of creating an EFT application on the phone,
Okay.
on phone, iPhone, Android. And this application is creating individualized EFT exercises for people. We are
Okay.
in the process of testing it right now, and it's really something else. So if I can promote this,
Sure,
then
sure,
I
of
will.
course, of course, of course.
Yes. Yes, I encourage people to check it out because it is like having a EFT practitioner in the pocket.
Yeah.
So you can use any kind of emotional release on the go, wherever you are, wherever you have your phone, and it creates really excellent EFT exercises. They are actually based on my EFT exercises that I do with people, and it's like around 6,000 of them.
Yeah.
To all put it in a database, and the application creates EFTs based on it. So it's really awesome.
No, sounds good. And if somebody want to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
The best way is to go to my website. There's a contact form there, and there's all information people need. The website is katarzynadodd.com. You
Yeah, I
can
put
type
that
my
on the
name.
show notes. Yeah, yeah. And before I let you go, one last thing about trauma bonding and how we could I don't know if you can say avoid it, but how can we see the signs? Maybe one last word about trauma bonding.
How we see the signs. Uh, well, love doesn't hurt, okay? That's
Mhm.
number one. If love hurts, then there's a trauma bond behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, that to me, that's enough said. Well, first of all, Kasia, again, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me again.
Yep, my
Thank you.
pleasure. Bye bye.